We are back, baby. Views Tube. It's your boy Views. Hope you're well. Enjoying your weekend. Smash the like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Today, baby. Today, it's not a UK city. We're over in Australia. Australia's deadly gang war. GW versus 21 District. We're gonna learn together. I did say we're gonna venture out, and I did say we're gonna also do some London ones. So watch out for that. It is coming soon. But before we go anywhere,
Get me, but hey, bam! You know I don't do this waffling thing.
yeah, let's go.
An 18-year-old has been killed and another two
Man has been murdered in Sydney's
A
West
week after the deadly stabbing of a 17-year-old.
Niggas wanna know the truth. Inside with a shoot. Big Malachi try come around and got shots right at his cow.
Now, Sydney is one of the most well.
Boy, hold on. You know that I like accents. You know that first and foremost, I'm an accent fan. Yeah, we recently done Bristol. Yeah, oh Lord, got bored for iPhone cord. Like the accent was mad. Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about that accent. I don't know if it sounds good or bad to me, but we like it either way. We're still just a bit undecided. That sounded all right though. Sorry, let me just wheel it. Sorry, guys.
Big Malachi try come around and got shots right at his cow.
Now, Sydney is one of the most well-known cities in the world and is in fact the capital of New South Wales. And whilst a lot of people confuse Sydney as the capital of Australia, this is actually false, as the capital of Australia is Canberra.
And I never knew that until I went there. I went to Perth. Western Australia is like the first kind of place you come to once you're kind of flying in from Asia. So it's not as long as going to Sydney or whatever, Melbourne, whatever it is. But yeah, I was like, oh, can I go to the thing that looks like dishes? You know, on the washing up rack, there's like, oh, what, the Opera House? I was like, yeah, there's like, that's going to take about 3 days drive or we have to get on another plane. I was like, all right, forget it. Story time over.
Of 2022, Sydney was home to around 5.2 million people currently living in and around the city. Sydney is best known for its popular tourist destinations, an example being the Sydney Opera House. This alone attracts tourists from all over the world. However, what a lot of these tourists are unaware of is the ongoing and deadly gang war that has been playing out within the streets of Sydney, resulting in multiple people being shot, stabbed, and killed, with a spotlight then being shone on the young rappers on both sides of the rivalry. This subsequently resulted in the Australian drill scene exploding and turning these young Aussie drillers into superstars overnight. This being the bloody and deadly.
That's the only group I've heard of is 1-4, but because I've checked out some other reactors and they do a lot more music rather than gang documentaries and stuff, and 1-4 was one of them.
Gang war between an alliance of street gangs based around the inner west of Sydney and greater western Sydney. Prominent gangs from inner west being Proper 60, G40, and MOB. Although I'll speak about other inner west gangs later on within this video. These inner west gangs then rivaling the street gangs from greater western Sydney, which is home to multiple prominent gangs, including 1-4, LF70, and RFA17. The rivalry between both gangs from the inner west and greater western Sydney has been playing out within the streets for around a decade, which is crazy as it was only in the last few years that rappers on both sides began making noise in the Australian drill scene. Although this wouldn't mean anything, as the rappers on each side are in a deadly feud with one another, resulting in broad daylight shootings, stabbings, and murders occurring, leading me to believe that this may be the craziest video I have made to date.
Wow, that's a big statement. Big up to the UK drill plug. We always let him do his plug-in. You know what I'm saying? Lightning. We're talking about this channel, advertising, and making it known that we are using his content right now. So big him up. Make sure you subscribe over here as well, guys. 5% if you guys are not subscribing. Show some love.
But without further ado, let's get into one of, if not the craziest gang rivalries I've spoke about on this channel.
1-4, 27 District, T, G40, now 21 District.
See, and again, 21 District, all of that is like from the postcodes, isn't it? So it's the same all around the world, man. Honestly, that's the recurring theme as well. There's not much originality, but yeah.
Teenager has died outside Blacktown police station.
So to begin with, the first alliance of gangs is based around Greater Western Sydney, this being a large region that makes up the larger Sydney. The Greater Western area of Sydney is home to an alliance of gangs, more specifically based around the postcode that begins with 27, mainly.
Literally just said the postcode. And I'm going to say this now and try and let it play on for a little bit because I realize it's a 20-odd minute video. More and more that I watch this stuff, as much as there was people getting shot and stabbed way before drill music, I definitely feel like the music adds a lot more to it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying it how it is for me.
Around the Mount Druitt area. The gangs I'll be talking about include NF14 based around Mount Druitt. This gang is more popularly known as 1-4, the NF14 gang being based around the 2770 postcode, LF70 also based around the 2770 postcode, RFA17, once again being from the 2770 postcode, and finally Section 60 from nearby St. Mary's. For simplicity's sake, I, like many others, will refer to these collections of crews as 27 District, or just 27, as the postcode begins with 27, although the alliance of gangs also goes by other names. Other gangs are known to be affiliated with the gangs from 27 District, although if they aren't relevant to the story, I won't really speak on them. A few streets away from the Greater West allied gangs lies a rival gang known as 6-7, this being based around the suburb of Doonside, which
6-7 again postcode, but we got a famous 6-7 from London beefed with 150. We'll get into that one as well.
is in fact based in the 27 postcode. It's important to note, however, that this 6-7 gang is not affiliated with the 27 district gangs, but instead the 6-7 gang is affiliated with their rivals from Inner West or the 21 district. The gangs that directly rival the gangs from the 27 district is that of 21 district, which, as you could probably tell, is a group of gangs based around the 21 postcode, this then being in the Inner West of Sydney. The gangs based
It's still hella confusing. Do you know what I mean? I don't know about you, man.
around the 21 district include RFL from Blacktown 2148, G40 from Guildford 2161, Proper 60 or ML60 from Maryland's 20.
Proper 60. I'm sorry, what you just said, proper 60 is, it's like proper 60. You have to say it Cockney.
2160. This Proper 60 gang being the gang that popular rapper A Huncho hails from. These group of gangs are closely allied with one another and have a rivalry with the gangs from Mount Druitt from the 27 postcode. This collection of gangs from the 21 postcode is often referred to more simply as 21 District or IWB.
And sorry, just like about his name, A Huncho, we know that there's a famous M Huncho from over in the UK, Hooligan, something Sav. You know, there's the names are all the same as well, man.
Which is an acronym for Inner West Brothers, or Inner West Brotherhood. Due to how many gangs are involved, and in order to not confuse you, I'll refer to both sides of the rivalry as 27 District and 21 District. Now, you may be confused as to how gangs from two completely different postcodes within Sydney have come to
Definitely not. That's a recurring theme. We're not confused about how these things come about. Someone gets slighted. It usually either starts with fighting and goes on to the bigger stuff, or it starts with the bigger stuff and never ends. Big him up. Obviously, he's got to say all of this in the video, but we're not confused as to why these things start.
have such a deadly rivalry with one another, resulting in brazen and violent attacks occurring in the streets of Sydney. Whilst it's not known how the rivalry between these groups of gangs began, what is known is as far back as 2015 teenage gang members from Doonside and Mount Druitt were getting into fistfights with one another over postcode territory. This then slowly evolving into stabbings and shootings. One of the first incidents recorded
Literally just said that, like, mad.
between the gangs was in 2015 when a fight video was uploaded onto YouTube titled Doonside vs Mount Druitt. This video showing a group of NF14 members fighting HS members from Doonside in a Sydney street, and whilst no one was seriously injured, it would appear that these fights slowly escalated into a full-on postcode war. It's rumored that the gang from Doonside, Mount Druitt, and Blacktown was known as RFL, before the olders made younger members pick sides, with new gangs being created, examples being 6-7, RFA, and GRC, with it being believed that the gangs on the 27 postcode all linked up and rivaled the gangs from the postcode that started with 21. Now, it's important to note that Doonside is based around the 27 postcode, although the gang that is based in Doonside is known as 6-7 and actually has a rivalry with other 27 district gangs. This 6-7 gang then siding with the 21 district gangs. Another incident occurred only months later in October 2015 when a 23-year-old man was beaten to death outside of a shop in Mount Druitt and was later found by passers-by a few hours after the attack. It's rumored that the man killed had alleged ties to the NF14 crew, which has more popularly become known as 1-4, with some even stating that the killer fled shortly after the brutal attack and made his way back to Blacktown, home to the
Brutal attack. He just got beaten to death. Like, with what? A bat, hammers, fists. Not sure why that hasn't been a little bit more specific, but that's crazy.
2148 Street Gang, RFL, or MOB. Rest in peace. During this time, the rivalry was more commonly known as Inner West versus Greater West, as like I discussed before, both groups of gangs were based in different sides of Sydney. The 27 postcode gangs in Greater West and the 21 postcode gangs in Inner West. In the first few months of 2016, the NF14 gang began to make noise in the underground Australian drill scene, releasing a direct diss track to the Inner West gangs, this being titled Inner West Diss. Within this song, the members referenced multiple incidents that saw rival members being stabbed or shot, as well as referencing multiple brawls that had occurred between the groups of gang members in the months prior. In both 2017 and 2018, the 1-4 collective began to make a huge noise in the Aussie drill scene, even beginning to make their own wave, which was not ever seen before, releasing huge tracks like Don't Want It in 2007.
And I swear they done a remix, didn't they? Ain't It Different? Heady One. I swear they done a remix with Heady. That's another time where I've come across them as well. I thought, rah. You know what I mean?
2017 and What You Know in 2018, and whilst it looked as if 1-4 could explode in the Australian drill scene, in July 2018, a massive brawl that included 1-4's key members occurred. This then subsequently resulting in 1-4's most prominent and well-known members facing prison time for their involvement in this gang.
Sorry.
Resulting in 1-4's most prominent
Also to a violent pub rampage. That's what I'm trying to say, because over there they got a pub culture as well, like the UK. They still got motorcycle clubs. Yeah, there's burners, knives, like the police have got guns. It's all a bit mad over there. So I knew it got down. Obviously, I didn't hear about nothing like this. But what seems to be recurring in this video is the very early signs of the war, the constant brawls out in public on the street. They're not like stabbing, shootings. You know, someone lost their life, excuse me, by being beat to death. But it's fights at the moment, you know what I mean? So when it's like this, you can kind of it can kind of get squashed. You can look past it. The moment it goes up from that, you know, someone lost their life now, it's never gonna stop. Blow by blow account of brutal 1-4 pub melee revealed in court. 3 rap group members have been jailed. One victim was bludgeoned with a hammer, there you go, and left in a pool of his own blood. So yeah, so now we're talking serious. Do you know, like, not to say fisticuffs ain't serious, you can still, you know, punch someone to death, but they're being a little bit more specific here. Victim can't remember a thing from the night. He recently had wrenching experiences of watching CCTV video of the evening. Bludgeoned with a hammer.
And well-known members facing prison time for their involvement in this gang war. In July 2018, 1-4 members Lex 14, YP, and Selly were in a pub when a brawl broke out between a group of men and the 1-4 members. Lex beat up a man until he was unconscious, before then taunting the unconscious man. Another 1-4 member known as YP used a chair leg and smashed it into a rival's head, whilst Selly repeatedly hit another man with a hammer. Now, this entire attack was caught on CCTV, thus leading to the arrests of all of the members involved. And in the end, Lex was given 4.5 years, whilst YP was given 4 years for his role in the attack, and finally Selly was given a 10-year sentence. These 3 arrests took one.
How comes he got the extra 6? Maybe because, again, bludgeoning with the hammer. If you're hitting someone with a hammer, you're not just trying to knock them out. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
4's most prominent members off the streets, resulting in other rappers beginning to carry the 1-4 name. It's believed that around this time, a group of Inner West members from 21 were on their way home from watching a rugby match, when they were noticed by rival Greater West, 27 members. It's rumored that following this, a young member from the Greater West or 27 gang retrieved a claw hammer and beat the rival Inner West member on a train. Images surfaced following the attack showing a man with a severely bloody head. However, that is way too shocking to show on.
Yeah. And he does have a Patreon, guys, UK Drill Plug. Like I said, I don't mind plugging it, pun intended, lightning though, because we're using his content. If you want to see the uncensored versions, Patreon.
YouTube. Luckily, however, no one was seriously injured. Sadly, however, only a few months following this incident in October 2018, a member associated with 21 District would be killed by rival 27 members, resulting in get-back shootings and stabbings occurring, this being the death of Tino. On the 6th of October 2018, 20-year-old Tino Henry, who had alleged ties to the 21 District gang, would be standing with friends in an underpass near Fitzwilliam Street.
Like, you can't deny though, some of the beats are just too, like, even me in my big old age, I can't, yeah, I didn't like drill when it first came out, but it definitely grows on you, and it definitely kind of incites the behavior that we're seeing.
Which was close to Westfield Parramatta. Tino and his friends were noticed by rival gang members from the Greater West crew, alleged to have been the LF70 gang, with a massive brawl then ensuing. Sadly, during this fight, Tino was stabbed multiple times with the wounds he sustained proving to be fatal. As upon emergency services arrival on the scene, he was treated.
It's mad because when they keep saying brawls, I'm just thinking they're having fisticuffs, you know, like the Warriors come out and play it. Like we're just, yeah, it might be a couple of bottles, someone might, but you all get to go home. Someone got beat to death, so obviously that's out the window. But they keep saying brawl, and then they're saying that he got stabbed multiple times, so it's more like a stabbing, right? But yeah.
Before he was rushed to Westmead Hospital, in which he sadly died a few hours later. Only a few minutes following the stabbing, 3 young men were arrested on nearby Hassall Street. The 3 men arrested were a 17-year-old who was charged with the murder and was refused bail, a 20-year-old, and a 16-year-old who was later released from
19-year-old, not a 20, and a 16-year-old. Teens. That's another recurring theme as well.
police custody, with it being rumored that in the end, the LF70 member was given 3 years for the murder of Tino, as he was under the age of 18.
I was gonna say, what? How? What? But again, doing big people business under the age of 17, murdering people.
Rest in peace, Tino Henry. Following Tino's death, the 1-4 gang was completely exploding in the Australian drill scene, with the collective dropping the track titled What You Know around 20 days following Tino's death. This track currently sits
I ain't gonna lie, but when I keep seeing them walking towards the camera like that, it's giving me like Football Factory vibes in it. I'm not even taking the piss.
on around 3.6 million views, which was very good for an Australian drill rapper. This track currently sitting on around 3.6 million views, which was very good for an Australian drill rapper. At the beginning of
That just repeated itself, but yeah.
2019, 1-4 released the popular track titled Shanks and Shivs, which also gained a lot of attention, sitting on around 4 million views. It would actually be their next drop that would blow them into the mainstream, this being The Message, which was released in March.
The Message, I swear someone reacted to it. Who is it? Was it No Life Shack? Someone reacted to it.
March 2019, and featured multiple disses towards Tino and the 21 district gangs. An example was when JM rapped, "Now, I'm proud to say to this day forward that the 7 put an op on a shirt." This line,
Again, another JM. I was saying in the Bristol video, CM, LM, JM, that there's no originality. And now it seems like it's all the way across the world. Now I'm proud to say to this day forward that the 7 put it up on his shirt. He did. It's dark. Why are you proud about that? Got things on hips. Watch Ops Despair. Oh, mad.
line referencing the murder of Tino and how 27 district members were responsible. Later in the track, YP rapped the line, 21 what? But 1 got knocked. Ha, I guess that makes them 20. This also being a diss toward Tino. The death of Tino was thought to have resulted in retaliation attacks, one of these being in 2019, when a member associated with the 27 gang recorded himself chasing the Inner West rapper Jay Lex.
Why do people do this? It's like you come on it's bad enough you're coming and saying everything on the track, but then like you record yourself, or you go and do mad works and you got your phone. I mean, I'm old, but even I know you're not supposed to take your phone, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? What was the other video? The guy's going through the green. Watch how his brethren left him when he saw the way that I queffed him. Like, come on, bro. Right after it's like silliness, man. But these guys ain't got brains. They got heart, but they ain't got brains.
In Guildford. Luckily, Jay Lex made it out alive, but hours later he would arm himself and would travel to Mount Druitt with his brother in order to get back.
Hold on. Let me just make sure I've got the Jay Lex, right? Sorry, guys. I know this is a long video, but I just missed something there, and I feel like we're not starting at stage 1. We're starting at 2 or 3. So
Himself chasing the Inner West rapper Jay Lex in Guildford. Luckily, Jay Lex made it out alive, but hours later he would arm himself and would travel to.
So Jay Lex was being chased, and he got him. He made it out alive. Maybe they had hammers, knives. You know how they get down already. Cool. Then he went and got something for the get back.
Mount Druitt with his brother in order to get back. The Inner West members, including Jay Lex, traveled to Mount Druitt in multiple cars. The members noticed a few 27 district members, and what followed this was a massive brawl in a car park. Jay Lex and his brother were both stabbed multiple times.
No way. This is becoming a bit of a recurring theme, not as much as some of the other stuff like the bolder things or the broader things, but in terms of that reminds me of Billy the Kid. We're going to get into some of the London things, like he was trying to go and avenge a drill that was done, went and got the guns, went and got his friends, drove to Bridge, shot after people, missed, those people shot after them, and then he got killed. Billy the Kid. Some of the other videos we've seen, the kids on the e-bike shooting at the car, missing, and then getting chased down and stabbed to death. Like, what on earth? Like, everyone feels like, yeah, I got the gun, I got the knife, the badness is on me. Well, hold on, don't feel like the other people don't feel the same. So you just about made it out alive. So obviously you're gonna try and get your get back, and on your get back ride out, that's when you get killed. Like, it's so. Just leave it alone, kids, innit? Honestly.
In a deadly and vicious attack, with both being rushed to hospital. However, both Jay Lex and his brother went on to survive the attack. This violent incident.
Oh shit! They went on to survive. I thought you said he died. So you went and got chinged anyway. You made it out alive. Then you went and brought more people, and then they got chinged as well. Like, jeez Louise. Look at that. Look at that for some bad luck.
Was later mentioned in YP from 1-4's track titled Ben 10, in which he mentioned the incident, rapping,
Run up, get chef, lock down. At least he tried his best.
At least he tried his best. Oh, yo, listen. Yeah, you know I'm an accent killer. Oh shit, sorry bro, VAR.
Rapping,
Run up, get chef, lock down. At least he tried his best. 1-4.
Now, remember I said that 1-4 had released a track
Run up, get chef, you know, like Jay Lex. At least he tried his best. Oh, the accent's nuts.
titled The Message. Well, in July 2019, 21 District released a direct response to this track titled The Reply. This song gained a massive amount of attention, as both gangs were now warring it out in the public eye. The Reply currently sits on an impressive 3.2 million views. A few days following the release of The Reply, Spenny from 1-4 got into an argument online with a 21 District member who had made fun of Spenny's dead mum. Spenny then traveled onto Guildford, which was 21 District's block, and made a series of snaps on the block dissing his rivals. He then left after 25 minutes of lurking on his rival block. During this time, 1-4 had released their track titled
What was that? Was it what maybe it's vacant? He's gone to the up block and it's vacant. Ghost Town. Is that what he's trying to say? You stayed there for 25 minutes. Like, did you let anyone know you was there? Did you just turn up round there? Like, but still.
Spot the Difference, which was an instant hit and blew up almost instantly, currently sitting on around 20 million views, which is crazy as no one had really gained this success in the Australian.
That's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. A lot of these guys look like they're some type of Maui, or they've got some sort of, in them.
Drill scene. However, what a lot of fans didn't
Lightning, by the way.
know about was the ongoing gang feud that was only going to get more deadly as the years go on, with another violent incident occurring in the summer months of 2020. On the 28th of August 2020, at around 9:45 p.m., a member of the LF70 gang from 27, known under the street name Junes, was walking with a friend on Church Street when he was noticed by rivals from the alleged KTV gang. A verbal altercation then ensued. However, the argument slowly escalated, with Junes then attempting to run away. However, he was chased down by the attackers and was stabbed multiple times all over his body. Following the attack, the assailants then fled the scene, with emergency services arriving on scene shortly after. Junes was rushed to hospital and luckily went on to survive the attack.
Wow. Do you know what I'm saying? What was that? Another recurring theme. It depends, like, where you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Where you get stabbed, some people can get multiple stabs and live. Other people get one shot and die. Do you know what I mean? So it's mad. It's so crazy, man.
Now, not much is known about what happened following this, but what is known is that around this time in 2020, Section 60 members from 27 District were kidnapped by Inner West Youngers and forced to deny involvement. They were also told to say Inner West on top. This entire incident was recorded and
Kidnap people to say things like that. What is that? We're going to kidnap someone. I don't know, innit? If you're going to go through the effort of doing all that, what, just to say, oh, we're not involved? Like, I don't know, that's a bit mad to me.
uploaded onto social media, where it has since gained thousands of views. At the end of 2020, 1-4 linked up with the UK rappers Headie One, AJ Tracy, and Stormzy. This song was titled Ain't It Different Remix. And
Right, I can't remember, I didn't remember Tracy and Stormzy in it. That's mad.
as you can guess, this was a remix to Headie One's popular track, Ain't It Different, with AJ Tracy and Stormzy. The remix was taken well, and currently sits on around 2.8 million views. This then shining a bigger spotlight on the Australian drill movement, with commenters beginning to turn their heads towards 1-4 and the Aussie drill scene. In March 2021, Demons, who was associated with the 21 District gang, released a track titled Cyber Violence. Now, this track gained quite a bit of attention, and it really looked as if Demons could blow in the scene. However, just under a month following this release, he got himself caught up in a case that saw him stabbing a rival 7 times in broad daylight on CCTV. In April 2000,
Live on the camera. It's Demons. I was thinking what demons, but it's Demons. Live on camera. They ain't gonna show it. But go and hit his Patreon if you want to see it.
2021, Demons, who was associated with 21 District, noticed a rival LF70 member who was sitting on the ledge of a counter. Both Demons and his friend then approached the rival LF70 member, asking him where he is from. And in a shocking turn of events that was caught on CCTV, Demons and his friend began attacking the LF70 member, stabbing him up to 7 times in his neck, back, and chest with a box cutter. The LF70 member was rushed.
Box cutter, you know. You see how he's just sitting there, swinging his legs off the ting. Like, mad.
To hospital, and luckily went on to make a recovery following the attack, with Demons then being apprehended by police hours later. Demons ended up only serving a year in a juvenile detention for this stabbing. He was later released in 2022.
Yeah. 1 year. Fuck it. Why is it sounding light over there than it, like lighter over there than it is here? Hey, that makes sense.
And went on to directly
Maybe because of the ages.
talk about the incident in an interview in which he was asked about it, and he said,
Can you tell me about the stabbing that you were involved in? What happened there?
Oh my days. Is this part of the reform? Got to come and... I suppose it's happened now. He's ridden some time for the crime, but I mean, someone asked the guy who got mashed up with the box cutter. Do you know what I'm saying? Ask him how he felt. Is a year enough? Wow. Let's see what he says.
You know, just personal beef, just
personal beef, What?
just had a problem with one of my brothers, and one thing went to another.
One thing led to another. 7 times with a box cutter, bro.
It was either me or him, you know. He's in.
It's either me or him. It didn't look like that. He was just swinging his legs off the counter, bro. He never approached no one. You lot approached him. This don't look like no kind of reform, does it?
The wrong area at the end of the day.
it was actually only a few.
At the same time, there is a little bit of truth there. Like, if you're in the wrong, like, why are you just sitting there? Imagine going to the up lot, like just swinging your legs. You're kind of asking for trouble, innit? But at the same time, he never approached anyone. When it's me or him. No, it weren't. Telling you, man.
2 months following this almost fatal stabbing, that a younger that was allegedly associated with the Greater West Gang Section 60 and 14 would be stabbed to death following a brawl, thus leading to 2022 becoming an extremely dangerous year
again, another madness
between these large street gangs in Sydney.
An 18-year-old has been killed and another 2 teenagers are fighting for life after a late-night brawl in Sydney's west.
On the 1st of September 2021, 18-year-old Orbsky, who was rumored to have been an associated of the QSB set, which was based around St. Mary's, and was allied with other 27 gangs. Anyways, on the 1st of September 2021, Orbsky and a few friends were walking in Blacktown. They were noticed by alleged rivals from the MOB gang, which was a crew based around Blacktown. A massive brawl then broke out in the streets, with members on both sides retrieving knives.
Again, brawls and then retrieving knives. Like, these men are really doing warriors, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, like the Europeans that meet up in the woods to just have straighteners and that, and then they come with their fucking mouth guard and gloves. This is what these lot do, but then they go and get the knives. This is just a bit weird.
Sadly, however, Orbsky was stabbed multiple times in this brawl, with 2 other 15-year-olds also sustaining knife wounds as a result of the deadly brawl. Orbsky was rushed to a hospital, but
17, 2 15-year-olds, 21-year-old man and 4 17-year-olds have been charged. I mean, what the fuck?
sadly was pronounced dead a few hours later. Both 15-year-olds went on to luckily survive the attack, with police then launching a murder investigation hours after the attack. Several people were arrested after the murder. This included 4 17-year-olds and even a 14-year-old. However, I couldn't find who was found guilty and charged. Rest in peace, Orbsky. Dozens of tributes poured in following Orbsky's death, with people from all over the internet showing their love to him. A few witnesses to the crime would later come out stating,
about 6 or 7 guys running after a couple of people. They were screaming pretty bad.
It was also stated that the death of Orbsky may have been a retaliatory attack for a 16-year-old who was beaten to death in Doonside only a few weeks earlier, around a few streets away from where the dead
Look at the ages, man. The recurring themes, people. The recurring themes.
deadly brawl occurred that claimed Orbsky's life. However, this is just alleged and isn't confirmed. Rest in peace, Orbsky. Over a month following the death of Orbsky, on the 29th of November 2021, a group of Proper 60 or ML60 members. As a quick note, Proper 60 is a gang that is based around Maryland's 2160. This Proper 60 gang being allied with other Inner West gangs and having a rivalry with gangs like 1-4, LF70, and RFA-17. You may know the Proper 60 gang as A Huncho actually reps it. Anyways, on the 29th of November, a group of Proper 60 members would be walking outside the World Gym in Western Sydney when a group of 1-4 members noticed the rivals, unleashing what was described as a hail of bullets onto the Proper 60 members, the bullets narrowly missing young children that were playing in a daycare. However,
Another recurring theme. How are you a gangster when you just open up into anybody? Open up into an empty house? Open up at a funeral? Open up outside the gym? Now, all of those people could have been gang that was trying to film themselves with the camera. So you get up a bit closer. Do you know what I'm saying? When you're just driving by, just letting go, anyone can get it. And that's what I don't rate. I don't rate none of the drilling either, but know what you're doing. Know who you're getting. Don't just open up and hit innocent people. It's just annoying to me.
Brett, who was a close friend of A Huncho, was shot in the leg with his bone appearing to shatter on camera. Although luckily he survived the shooting, this entire incident was caught on CCTV and was one of the most shocking things I've watched, with it being reported that around 18 bullets were shot toward the Proper 60 members. Now, multiple other tit-for
Sorry, I swear that was my door. My apologies, people. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Just stop opening up into public areas to be hitting anyone. That's crazy.
tat incidents occurred between the gangs following the shooting. However, I'll only really be speaking on the most well-known incidents, as so much has happened within this gang rivalry in Sydney. The next incident in the beef, however, was an extremely brutal and vicious home invasion that occurred in the first few months of 2022. On the 5th of April 2022, a group of
home invasion. It's another thing I talk about. What was the other video where he opened up the window, or he just shot through a window, didn't even hit the person he was after, killed somebody else? A home invasion. Unless the person lives on his own, has the family members got anything to do with it? Are they living the same life? Do they even know what's going on?
RFA members got the drop on a rival 6-7 members home from Doonside at around 2:30 a.m. CCTV showed a car containing the RFA members driving down Cameron Street in Doonside. 6 members of the RFA gang then got out of the car and walked towards a home that belonged to an alleged 6-7 member known as Ray.
Belonged to an alleged 6-7. Again, more recurring themes.
The RFA members then broke into the home and attacked Ray's brother Star. In the CCTV
and attacked his brother. What's he got to do with it? Does he ride? Like, do you know? This is what I'm trying to say. Is there any thought put into any of this? What evidence have you got? You know, everyone's got to pay for what the one person does in the household. I don't think that's right. Let me know below if I'm chatting rubbish.
CCTV recorded on the street. You can actually hear Star screaming after he had been stabbed, followed by his dad then rushing in to check on him. This being when the RFA members turned their attention toward his dad, stabbing him as well. It's then believed that his mum ran in before she was also stabbed badly. With the RFA members
oh my God. What is this, man? The mum and the dad. No manners whatsoever. What have they got to do with anything?
Being shortly after the triple stabbing, Star, his dad, and his mum were rushed to hospital, where they made a steady recovery.
Was he even in the house? Do you understand what I'm saying? But yet 1, 2, 3 people got stabbed. All right, luckily they're all in stable condition, but what? What?
Following the attack, the occupants then told police that 4 people armed with knives stormed the home, with police then establishing that the group first assaulted Star, before his mum and dad rushed to his aid, in which the mum and dad were both stabbed. Luckily, however, they survived. Police then treated the home as a crime scene and collected forensic evidence, leading to the arrests of the teens involved days later.
And that's another recurring theme as well. Got the heart, but none of the brains.
Triple stabbing was later referenced in unreleased RFA tracks, in which the rappers rapped,
Stick right through the back, stab his dad. We tried to turn him back. I didn't give a fuck about his mum, cause she got stabbed too.
Don't even rhyme. They tried to turn him Pac, what, his dad? Jesus.
Now, following this almost fatal triple stabbing, the Sydney Royal Easter Show was beginning to get in session from the 8th of April until the 19th of April 2022. If you didn't know, this show was annually held and was highly anticipated each year for its entertainment.
It's probably going to be like Carnival, innit? You know, where people pop out. If you're from London, you might even like any time like the Hampstead Heath Fair comes around, or Pinner Fair, or anything like that, Alexander Palace, something's going to happen. Just like, because everyone comes out for these things.
One of the people working at this show was 17-year-old Uwati Pele Falatolu, who was working on the breakdance ride. And whilst it looked up for Uwati, who was even having a child, sadly on the 11th of April 2022, only 6 days after the triple stabbing that had occurred, Uwati was sadly stabbed to death at the Royal Easter Show. On the 11th of April 2022, at around 8 p.m., a group of RFA members would be attending the Royal Easter Show. It's believed that a massive brawl broke out at the show, resulting in people being attacked, and it was believed that during this brawl, Uwati was stabbed multiple times in the chest by a group of RFA members. It's rumored that Uwati's 15-year-old relative was also in attendance, and upon hearing the news that Uwati had been stabbed, his 15-year-old relative began chasing a group of 3 around with a knife, before he then went on to be arrested, with a video even emerging showing the arrested screaming 6-7 mother. This being a reference to the 6-7 gang from the 2760s.
Again, they're having these brawls. People are getting stabbed in the middle of the brawl. People are not even thinking. Do you know what I mean? Hey, it was this Uwati even gang.
7 postcode that has a rivalry with 1-4 and other allied gangs. Uwati was rushed to hospital, but was sadly pronounced dead moments later, with a murder investigation being launched. Now, before I continue, it's believed that Uwati wasn't in fact a gang member, but allegedly knew a few members from the 6-7 gang, thus sadly making him
know your friends. Know your friends. Know who you stand next to.
a target. But either way, rest in peace, Uwati. My thoughts and prayers go out to his friends and family. Following the death of Uwati, his killers went on the run and would begin to rap about the crime, with an alleged 14-year-old member of the RFA gang, even going on to remix Tay K's track titled The Race, that was rapped by the alleged 14-year-old RFA member. Now, in July 2022, after a few months of being on the run, Uwati's killers were arrested. This included a 14-year-old among the 3 teens arrested. Police made the arrests after watching hundreds of hours of CCTV footage, phone data, and social media.
It's their job. 9 to 5 or whatever hours they work. They get paid every day to get up and catch your ass. More time, you're gonna get caught.
All 3 have gone on to be charged with the murder. However, I couldn't find if they were sentenced or not. Uwati was described as a happy and outgoing man with a loving heart. He was a caring brother, a loyal friend, and a selfless son and partner. Rest in peace, Uwati Pele Falatolu. It was in the months following Uwati's death that members from the LF70 gang began to release music that gained loads of attention. In June 2022, the LF70 collective released the track titled Pine Grove, which currently sits on around 385,000 views. Now, remember I spoke about the shooting that 1-4 members carried out on Proper 60 members, hitting A. Huncho's friend, Murat, in the leg. Well, Murat decided to flee Australia to Turkey in July 2022, after a large amount of money was put on his head. In September 2022, however, he would sadly die following a heart attack after a gym session with...
So you've left one country where you was getting burst at like lightning, and you don't want to be involved anymore, which is commendable in itself. You've gone to Turkey and died from a heart attack at the gym. You see how life can be, just the irony, like mad.
News of his death hitting Sydney very quickly. Rest in peace, Murat. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. Even though Murat didn't die due to any rivalry, his opposition often mention him, with A. Huncho carrying his name in a more positive light, often shouting him out in his songs. At the beginning of 2023, LF70 were making serious noise within the streets of Western Sydney, releasing the track titled Ching. This currently sitting on an impressive 500,000 views. They wouldn't stop there and release the track titled Run Up in October 2023. This also gaining a good amount of attention, currently sitting on around 225,000 views. Now, RFA 17 also released one of their first songs around this time, releasing the track titled Traumatized in December 2023, with people beginning to watch the scene once again. Blanco, who is a well-known UK drill rapper from Kenya.
Yeah. Spartans.
even took a liking to the track, posting it on his story and showing love to the RFA 17 collective. Now, it's believed that during this time, Razy from 6'7" was set up by a girl who had subsequently given his location to rival RFA 17 members, who followed him in a car for a few minutes on camera, making threats toward him. Luckily, however, he managed to get out alive. As of recently, YP from 1-4 would be released from prison, following that 2018 attack on rivals. Upon his release only mere weeks later, he became a priest and decided to give his life to God instead of living the gang life, thus leading to him quitting the music scene.
Hey, there's a positive. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but at the same time, you can do all of this and want to change, but if you've done certain dirt, there's no time limit on it, innit? Oh, it's been 10 years. Like, nah, bruv, if you stab someone or, you know, there's no time limit. You might have found God. They might have found the devil now that they've just been stabbed. You know what I mean? But of course, it is positive to not do it no more, find religion, whatever's going to help you survive. But the other people might not have forgotten what he's done. So you can change your life and still get moved to. You know what I mean?
This always being the best outcome from this road life, as realistically, the gang life only ever leads to jail or death, and rarely anything positive. He would actually appear in an interview in which he spoke about changing his life, and even spoke about a murder plot against him, this plot being foiled by police in January 2024.
Does the past and this murder plot concern you? Does it worry you?
Wasn't surprised, I guess. I knew that people wanted my life, rightfully so. I've done wrong to certain.
Wanted my life, rightfully so. I've done wrong. If they want your life, what type of wrong have you done? I'm not saying that no one deserves forgiveness, but once you do these type of things, it's set in stone. There's no rubbing it out. Do you know what I mean? So
people, and you know, they're in due time. I hope they can forgive me, but I was young and dumb, and
In March 2024, RFA 17 members released the music video to their popular track titled First Thing First. This music video also contained another track titled Trazil. Now, this song gained quite a lot of attention, just showing that these youngins are the future of Australian drill. And whilst it looked as if these young rappers could make it out of the streets, just under a month following this release, another person would sadly be killed as a result of Sydney's endless gang war. As of most recently, on the 12th of April 2024, members alleged to be from the 27 District Allied Gang would notice 18-year-old Isa Naden, who was also known as Zaya. Zaya and his older brother would be stabbed multiple times by the members. Both Zaya and his brother were rushed to hospital. Sadly, however, Isa Naden, or Zaya, was pronounced dead at Blacktown Police Station moments later. Following this, a murder investigation was launched, with the people that supposedly committed the crime going on to brag about it on Instagram Live, these lives being recorded and saved. In the end, however, 3 teens were arrested and charged for the murder. Rest in peace, Isa Naden, or Zaya. Now, it's not known if Zaya was involved in any gangs, with some people claiming he was close with 6-7 members. And
close? Is that gang? Mind who you stand next to, people.
Some saying he was a civilian and didn't in fact have any gang rivalries. Either way, however, rest in peace, Zaya. Since the death of Zaya, however, nothing else has really occurred within the beef, with a lot of the tit-for-tat incidents going unnoticed and not even being reported in the news. Now, if you have learned anything from this video, however, make sure that it is to stay out of the streets, as this gang lifestyle that you see these rappers living often only leads to jail or death. Oftentimes, these rappers have lost most of the people around them to the roads, and have to live the harsh reality of constantly being cautious.
Live by the gun, die by the gun. I keep saying the same thing. I realize this one was a little bit longer. Sometimes they might, depends on the length of the video and what we say when we react. But there you go, another one down. Australia. If there's more stuff or stuff that I've missed, or I've been asked to check out the Apex gang, whoever they are, we're going to check that out as much as we can. And we are going to do some London ones as well. But until next time, people, like, share, subscribe. Peace. We're out of here, man.